Howdy, we dug your work on the Vegas project, so we thought we'd bring you in to help out with our Mocha Yoga client. Mark says you already know the deal, so we've attached the edit that you'll be working from. Enjoy the roto.
Well, of course you know the deal. Long hours, no pay. Let's see what we got for you.
Yeah, you could do yoga here, but we think you'd like it better here.
Okay, I like this one. I think it's actually got a better humor element, and you can't really see it, but once you get this thing comped, you're gonna notice this guy who just kind of walks by here, very nonchalant, totally ignoring that this woman is doing yoga in the middle of the station. So the foreground is remarkably similar to what I worked with in a technical sense, although we'll see how similar it really is. What I see are some contrast areas that you could potentially take advantage of to avoid having to brute force roto. But I'm guessing that you're not going to be able to get out of this without doing any roto at all. And so I think you do know the drill as far as that goes. And then as far as the background goes, I did want to point something out here. So here we are in Instagram square format. This background plate that we have here is from China. It's actually Shanghai, I believe. And the signage is local, which is not a problem at all. Nor is it a problem that if you look closely, most of the people are Asian. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. But you could, if you are so inclined, change the signage to something that doesn't indicate China. And the main reason I would do that is it's a slightly distracting element. And given that this is a locked off shot, it's not going to be that hard to do that. But that's only an option. The mandatory part is to get your roto chops together.
Newsflash, we also have for you an edited version that is only 72 frames of glorious roto.
Yeah, you could do yoga here.
And you're out. Let's take a look at how you might approach this in After Effects. Here's my feeling about the long and short versions of this. If I were interviewing you or looking at your reel to have you do roto, I would want to see you do something like this. If, on the other hand, you know you hate roto and you're never, ever going to want to try to get work doing it, but you might need it to get yourself out of a jam, then maybe you want to do this version. So I don't usually like to give too much away, but I'm going to give you some hints. First of all, I notice these edits are both a little messed up. I don't know what really happened here, but layers are coming up short. Usually that's the result of timing, but that's not what's going on. So in the short version, I noticed in Premiere that it uses the end of the shot. So I'm just going to line it up that way. And what I would do to get started, first of all, you don't need any of these other layers except for these two right here. So you could basically select those, choose invert selection, shy all these, and tell them goodbye. Now, what I'm telling you is I see white pants over a darker ocean and then darker elements over a lighter sky. So there's a couple different ways to approach this. There is the keying approach. So you could really quickly see what the extract tool would do for you here. And what I noticed when I did this on my own was the upper part of the shot can be isolated to some extent right in this little gap in here. You can feather it out a little bit. Once you go below that, you're starting to really cut in a bit on her face and so on. But that gets you the upper body with a matte line. And then if you were being super loose and sloppy about it, you could go in your matte tools and choose Refine Soft Matte. And again, this is just to get an idea. This is not solving the shot. And notice that now we've got some hair detail starting to come through. Things are way too soft, but it would indicate to me that that thing of isolating the hair, probably with roto brush, actually, not with this method. And then, I don't know, not sure if maybe refine hard matte for those arms would work. And what I'm really wanting to tell you, though, is in a professional situation, you'd probably just go ahead and roto it. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to delete out both these, and let's now apply Mocha. And again, the way I would get started really fast in Mocha with this, and you can start from anywhere. I'll just go to the beginning frame, get on my X-splines, and watch how sloppy a mask I'm going to draw, but I'm just going to go around her contour. Now, remember with Mocha, we don't need to be right on the edge or anything. All we're doing is giving it basically an idea of what is the plane it's tracking. And her pants are going to act like one big articulated set of planes. So I'm getting them all at once. You may want to break it down more than this, but let's just see what this does. And it's very slow. It's kind of a glacial process here, perhaps because we're tracking something rather large, but it does look like it's staying there. It looks like she's barely moving at all. It looks like a lot of the movement is just her turn of the head, and there's just micro movement. But of course, the eye notices micro movement just as much as big movement. It's just that with micro movement, you don't have to worry about like motion blur and stuff. So if I play through that result, that stuck really well. And as you can go back and look at, if you didn't quite pick up on it, this doesn't have to be my final mask. So I could tweak this one, or I could use this as the basis to now do one or more articulated masks that are really precise about getting this. I could probably get the feet in there as well. The mat's going to be for free because I don't think it's moving at all. There's no camera movement. And you could then continue that same process to the upper torso, the arms, and pretty much only think about roto brush for the hair. But that's just one thought. I'm going to leave it over to you and review overall. As I said before, the short version is plenty enough for you to get critiques and move forward. And the full-length version is more like your tour de force effort that, like I said, if I looked at it, I'd be like, okay, I would consider you professionally. Because the thing with roto is it really pretty much comes down to what we've already covered. So once you master those skills, you're just reapplying them to various types of situations. And to have as a bonus that we try to change the subway sign, since it's, as far as I know, a locked off shot, or if it's not, it's very close to one, I don't think that's a huge ask. It really comes down to, are you the type of designer who would enjoy doing a little signage for it? Yes, it's no pain, no gain, but on the other hand, you're going to gain no matter what. So just get in there. So the ideal outcome here would be that you actually have fun doing this. Believe it or not, it is completely possible. We chose a shot that gives you a variety of approaches you can use, and you could just go full brute force on this and just roto the whole thing, but you can also play around with what some of what's in this image might allow you to do in terms of, I don't know, maybe pulling a key. All right, well, anyway, have an awesome time, and I look forward to seeing you put your knowledge to work.